guys, how are you doing? So today we got back to talk about few things that foreigners don't know about the Brazilian education. So today I'm going to talk with you about things that are common here and that a lot of foreigners they don't know. Like what? Yeah, you can study for free. But Thayse, everyone can study for free. Like, for example, USA has a lot of um, public schools to high school. We also can have graduation, post-graduation, and a lot of things for free. Please give me a like if you liked this video to help YouTube to understand that you like this kind of subject here and the platform will suggest my videos to other people. Because I got interested about the chance that people understand more about the Brazilian culture, okay? So sorry for my accent, by the way. It's because I'm trying to practice more and more and more because I went to do the IELTS test, so someday I can talk about that, okay? So, okay, everyone can go to a public university in Brazil. When you go to study in a public university, you don't pay for that. It's like 100% free. And an interesting fact is that you also can do your graduation during the night from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Which means, buddy, that you can work during the day. So it's very common that you can see Brazilians working from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. and then they still will go to university to do their graduation, like studying, for example, law, administration, math, history, a lot of courses, you know. I think that the only course that is actually hard to do in that way, it's med school. Because you can do for free, yeah, but some Brazilians, they don't have money to support themselves while they are studying, you know, and if they're going to study for free in a public university, they won't take loans to support themselves. So that's a little bit complicated because the med school demands basically classes in the morning and in the afternoon, you know, but the most part of the courses you can take in one period, like just for morning, just for afternoon, or just for night. That's the most common. Everyone can you study for free? Yeah, but everyone does? No, because the process, you know, the tests that you need to do to study for free. Sorry, I was just smelling some gas around. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so the test, it's really hard. So to pass in a public university, you need to study a lot. So that means that a lot of Brazilians, they go to university in private universities. They will pay for their own education, you know, because passing the public university, it's really hard. So when a Brazilian says to you, oh, my kid's studying in some federal university, dude, you should be proud of that kid because that kid was very committed with their education, okay? We also have private universities that you can pay to have your education, and you can do like also just during the night, just during the morning. You can also take classes online, you know. The online courses, graduation, they're not so expensive. They're very cheap, by the way. For example, you can have like classes doing international relations, pay $300 per month. $300, it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to convert. Let me check. Okay, guys, I'm not so good with numbers, but let's say that's not expensive. Maybe 300 reals would be like, reais would be like 50 pounds, I think, something like that. It's because when you convert, you know, it's not fair because nowadays 1 pound is like 7 reals, so that doesn't make sense. But anyway, it's not expensive. And they also offer some loans, scholarship. So actually make a university course in Brazil lately, it's not so hard or so expensive, you know. For example, I was taking classes last year actually with a German lady. Yeah, I was studying German. Anyway, she came from Germany to study here for free, you know, because we were talking and she said to me that it was expensive to make her course on Germany, and her family didn't have a lot of money. She had to work to help to support kids and her mom. So she moved to Brazil, started to give classes of German, and enter for free in a public federal university, you know. So she finished her psychology degree and then finished her master degree. And she told me that after finished that, she was planning to go back to German. She was going to do something like revalidate her certificate, you know. So that's interesting about Brazil. But of course that you can have like expensive courses, like these days go to do med school in a private university, it's nuts, it's completely crazy, like it's too expensive. Like some universities, they can charge 10,000 of reais. It's like absurd, it's a lot of money. I mean, like just rich people in the country do that. But you can have a lot of kids going to med school for free in a public university without paying nothing. So no, we don't have tuition fees, maybe that's the word. That's interesting. Another thing is that it's very, very common send kids to private schools because the public schools in Brazil, they're terrible right now. I'm Brazilian, I can talk about. On the 70s, every kid that used to come from a public school, they used it to enter university. The generation of my mom, all of them, like the biggest part of them, they were very, very, very poor, but they had a great education in public schools. And they passed it on the test of the public university. But now, if you send a kid to a public university, they usually won't pass on the public test, on the test to enter in the public university. So that's harsh. That's why a lot of Brazilians, even when they are like poor, they try to send their kids to private schools. That was the worst terrible thing ever that happened with Brazil in the last 40 years, I think, in my opinion, because a good public education in schools should be offered for every country. I mean, like university, it's another thing, but at least the basic education, that should be better, you know, not terrible. And we have some problems that I'm not going to talk about the safety inside those schools, but let's say that it's very common to send kids to private schools in Brazil. You have not so expensive private schools, you have medium prices and low prices. You will find every kind of school that's private. It's very common. And send a kid to private school in Brazil don't means that you were rich. And send a kid to a public university doesn't mean that your kid's rich or poor. Just means that your kid was very committed with his or her education. So that's a good thing in Brazil that a lot of people don't know. And that's possible to study whatever you want in a private university without paying a lot. And you also can work during the day and do the course just during the night. That's completely possible. So that's why actually lately it's so common to see Brazilians with a higher education degrees. We have some problems about that because unfortunately a lot of people go to those private universities without having a good basic education. So when they finish their degrees, they just don't work with their diploma. You know, they don't use it actually. That's very common. But if you are committed to have a good education, you can do it that without pay a lot, or work during your whole education. I worked since I was 13, actually. Yeah. And during my whole course, I was working, and I finished my law school with 21 because I entered university with 16 years. So that's a Brazilian thing that a lot of foreigners have no clue about it. So I hope that I helped you to understand more a bit about the Brazilian culture, and I see you on the next video. Bye!